What's up, guys? How are y'all doing today? I hope you guys are blessed and doing well. I know you guys see the headline and what I'm saying right now, and I just, um, I just wanted, to kind of let you guys know and encourage you that the country is in good hands. The country is in God's hands. This is the best country in the world, and no matter who's going to be the president, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. I do believe um, that this freedom that we continue to keep talking about, these opportunities and equalities that we're saying that we don't have, I truly believe that we have them. We already have the equality that we've been so desperately preaching about and so desperately saying that we need. This is the best country in the world, and many, so many people have come to America and literally died to just get the freedoms that we already have here. And I think that if you position yourself right, and it starts here mentally and spiritually, to position yourself right, to understand that how privileged that you really are to be in this country. Isn't this the best country in the world? What country's better? If there was a better country, I guarantee you that you probably would have positioned yourself to leave America and to be there full time, whatever country that would be. I personally believe that that country doesn't exist because I believe that America is the best place to be. This is the best place to be. And I know that our political environment is very invasive right now. It's very charged up. It's very divided. Extremely divided. From left to right, and individuals that don't even care about politics. They may have a level of tribalism where they're just on wanting to have their people come up, and not all people to come up, their people. But I feel like this is not what America's about. America is about everybody. It's about everybody. And the fact is that do we have the opportunities to be whatever that you want to be? Can't you be whatever you want to be in 2020? I believe that our freedom started. Absolutely. Absolutely. It did start with President Obama. The fact that a black man, listen to me, that a black man won the presidential office not just one time, but twice. It wasn't close elections. It wasn't close. It was blowouts. He blew McCain out in '08 and blew Romney out in 2012. A black man. What we said, Americans, black and white, Latino, Hispanic, Asian, foreigners, of all alike, said that a black man will never be president. We'll never see that in our lifetime, ever. Didn't we not see that? That showed me, and it should show you, that you can be whatever that you want to be in America as long as you what? Position yourself right. You can do it. You can be whatever that you want to be. Whatever that you want to be. The first black president, did he absolutely do anything for black people? Not really. Not really. He really didn't do anything for black people. But I'm going to tell you what he did do. He gave you hope. He gave you hope that you can be anything that you want to be. He did do that. He did do that. And I give him kudos. I give him kudos for that, because it was hard for him to be able to win the presidency. With this one fact, the country being dominated by whites in population. The biggest group in America, voting group, is white people, but white men. So with a black president that won the election not just once, it wasn't a one term, he wasn't a one trick pony. He won it twice. He won it twice. So how did a black man convince the biggest voting group in America to vote for me twice? And he was Democrat too, with left-wing ideas. How? It's because that he positioned himself right. He positioned himself right to be able to spew out his rhetoric, which was hope. He was a president, he was a compassionate president, meaning that he made you feel good. He said everything right. And he was able to win the presidency twice. So what I'm saying is that we have all of the freedoms, the opportunities, and the equality that we've been saying that we don't have. Let's look at the things that we do have instead of everything that we don't. All we preach about is how horrible this country is. The white supremacy. This country is white supremacist. And look at the president of the United States currently, Donald Trump. He's the worst president ever. He's the worst president ever. He didn't denounce white supremacy right there. He told the Proud Boys to stand down. Like, it doesn't matter if he said that it was white supremacy. You still wouldn't like him, because you still didn't like him from day one. You didn't like the president anyway. Most of you didn't. It's because of this one thing. Not about what he says. It's more about who he is. He's not a politician. And the previous president that we had in Obama said everything right, made you feel good. But I want a president that's going to keep it real with me. To keep it real. I'm going to tell you what. And President Trump keeps it real out there, boy. What did he say about black people? He said, this is what he said about black people. You guys are at the bottom. It's like, oh my God, but is that not the truth? Are we a horrible people? No, we're not. But black people have issues. I'm black. I can speak on it. I can say the issues that we have in the black race. And it's a black divide. The biggest problem is not white supremacy. Most people would say that it's white supremacy. Down with white supremacy. That's not the biggest problem in the black race. The black race is themselves. It's the black divide. Can't agree on anything. We can't agree on anything. There's some people believe in reparations, some believe not. Some believe that it's so much police brutality, some believe that it's not. Some are on the left, some are on the right. We don't really come together as a people. And if we came together as a people, we would have more strides. And what I'm saying is that position yourself right mentally to understand and to be appreciative to where you're currently at in history. What if you were in the 1800s and you were black? Hell, what if you were white in the 1800s? It wasn't cool then. There was no AC. There was no cars. There was no planes. This is the best time to live in the world. It's the best time to live in America. Look at Lincoln. A lot of you historians out there, you understand Lincoln. You know about Lincoln. What did he do? What was the crowning achievement of Honest Abe? Abraham Lincoln. Regarded as the greatest president ever. Pretty much, besides FDR. Or whatever, whoever your favorite might be. He freed the slaves, didn't he? The Emancipation Proclamation was the greatest piece of legislation ever drafted in American history. Ever. Now, I'm glad that you brought that point up. Lincoln was racist. Everybody white was back then. That's how they were. Because America was started, it was started for white people first. We have to understand that and agree and understand, is that such a bad thing? They had problems in Europe. They didn't really have any control. They were about to be dominated and not to have the religious freedoms. It wasn't just a divide from Christianity to Catholicism. It was this Islamic control that was potentially to be a huge threat to how Europeans were going to live for the rest of their lives for centuries. So they had to find a new land. And coming to America and starting America, yeah, they had to fight. Yeah, there was people that looked just like me. It wasn't just 16, 19. There were black people that looked just like me. They were already here. Did they do some horrible things? Yeah, they did. They didn't do everything right because there was a lot of things that weren't necessarily said as bad. Because slavery, because everybody talks about slavery so much, people at the time, and what I mean like pre-America, people that look like me ruled the world. And so what we have to understand is that black people wasn't necessarily so nice to all people. Slavery is a very old issue. So what I'm saying about Lincoln, what did Lincoln do? Lincoln freed the slaves. Well, Lincoln was racist. Well, why did he free the slaves? Why would a racist president free the slaves? Because it was something that would be beneficial to the party, if you understand history. So that this group of individuals that didn't have any rights and didn't have any, especially any voting rights, would suddenly vote for Republicans. Now, we don't really have that now. It's because of a lot of people in the black race are really confused about what's the better side to be on if you're going to be on the side. If you're going to play partisanship, which is the best side to be on? And the best side is the right side. Is being on the right side of the issues to position yourself right. You won't be worried about all of this social unrest, perceived social unrest. Like, to act like that it's the 60s. It's not. This place is great. And Trump saying that, you don't want to accept it. You want to look at the negative. But you can't take away that reality, that this country is the best country in the world. That we do have problems. I'm not saying that we don't have issues and problems. But the ideal that the process and the pushing to a more perfect union, more perfect, of wanting to be perfect. There was a time people that looked like me couldn't express themselves and couldn't get out there. Couldn't get out there and say the things that I'm saying. A black president would never be able to even be talking about a black president. How? How did we get there? It's because we've made already these opportunities and these freedoms and equalities that we're saying that we don't have. We already have them. What can a black man not do in 2020 as far as like reaching goals from an aspect of wealth and money? It's all about the deal. It's all about your idea. It's all about your perspective. It's all about your mindset. Where is it at? And I say, if you're going to be a little political out there, especially if you're black, you need to be on the right. Maybe a little right of center. That's where I'm at. Get on the right. Get away from left-wing stuff. Get away from it. Get away from that left-wing toxic rhetoric. It's toxic. White supremacy. The police want to kill you. The police are murderers. The police are murderous people. Get away from that thinking. There are more whites that die from the hands of police than black. Now I know there's a difference in population from like 12 to 13 to like 65 to 70. But it's still more whites that die. It's still more whites that die. That's not true. That statistic, it's overblown. That's not real. I'm looking at all of these things on Facebook. I'm looking at all these things on social media. The media, the left-wing media has gotten you to the point and desensitized your mind and making you think a certain narrative. That's what a lot of the media is about. To manipulate and tell their story the way they want to tell it. Tell it the right way. Tell it the right way. Tell it the right way. You know what I mean? Get on the right. Get on the right. I'll tell you what, when you get on that right, especially if you're black or you're brown, we're going to think about it differently. A lot of Hispanics are on the right. But you don't see them complaining about how horrible the country is. Now, I know there was a Spanish-American War. I know there was a Mexican-American War. It was never an African-American war. We really never had that because we don't have a black country that is like adjacent and right there on the border of the United States of America. Maybe if we had that, I think it maybe would be a little different story. But we don't. And I know because black people circumnavigate the earth, black people are really everywhere positioned in the world, which is true. But I'm just saying that not just black people, but even whites are so unappreciative of this great country that we live in. Why can't we talk about the good stuff? I can understand you don't like Trump for many reasons. Has he gotten out there and said some crazy things? Sure. I would never say that he's acted perfectly out there, because he hasn't. But he's not a politician. You have to keep that in perspective. He's a capitalist. He's a businessman. He's going to govern differently than Obama would, or than a career politician like a Biden. You want people to talk good, but sometimes that's not what you need. And that's why he won. That's why he beat Hillary. Real talk. That's why he beat Hillary. It's because the biggest voting group is white men. And what they wanted was for this country to be first, for this country to have better deals, for this country to be stronger internationally. And the thing about it is they achieved that. Trump gave them something different, and that was no political correctness. Get out there and say whatever you want. Are you racist if you say that black people are at the bottom and you're white? Are you racist? My point is, I don't care if you're racist. I don't care about white supremacy. That's why you should position yourself right. Who cares about that? Because even the fact of white supremacy, as a black man, I still can be whatever I want to be in this world. And whatever I want to be in this country, I still can. I still can do it. Whatever that I want to be. That's a fact. You position yourself right. You got the right deal. You got the right idea. I'm rich. Like seriously. Like, for real. Why would I be protesting in the streets for police brutality and saying we need to defund the police like the crazy left-wingers, what they talk about? We need the police. We need the police. We need to protect the police. We need to pay the police more money. Pay them more money. They make what teachers make. Teachers need to make more money. That's why this country is a more perfect union. Because yes, we do have some issues, and every issue has its time. Every issue has its time, like for real. I believe that out here yelling and screaming about how horrible this country is, it doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it better. What makes it better is getting good ideas that can foster change, real change. Like with the police, pay the police more money. Pay them like you pay nurses. I bet you a lot of them. I bet you a lot of them killings would stop. I promise you that. I bet you a lot of them would. Let's change how we look at a police officer. Maybe it shouldn't be a career position. Maybe we should look at it like the military, which the military could be. Well, it is a career position if you want it to be. But you sign up for 4 years, 2, 4, 8. But when you become a police officer, you're just a police officer. And you can be that as long as you want to, as long as you're physically apt to do, mentally apt to do, and you want to do the job. I don't think that that should still be the status quo in 2020. I think there's only a certain amount of time you should be like a street cop and to be in this turbulent type of environment. Like, I don't think it's safe. And when you guys talk about racism and everything like that, everybody's got their own personal biases. Everybody's got personal biases. So will that personal bias come into play on you trying to do your job? So I think that a lot of police officers should only be like, I think maybe 8 years is the most that you should actually serve. And we should make it a way, just like the military, the way that like they do the GI Bill, a way that they can be able to assimilate back into real civilian life. Because a lot of them are ex-military. A lot of them are. And they have this killer mentality. It's not so much about bias and racism. It's about being mentally fit to do the job. Because when you're in this type of environment and you see things, defund the police are murderers. You think that you trying to do your job, but you don't know if this black person is going to kill you because of some of the things they're watching on social media, of how the landscape is. You know? And so I'm just saying that for black people, for us, it would behoove us to have a police to be defunded financially, but to be limited on how long you serve, because a lot of them, not all of them, but most of these incidences that happen is from a guy or woman that has been on the force like longer than 8 years. Most of them. There are a few incidences of a rookie cop here or there, but most of the time, a rookie cop is not out there by himself. He's really dictated by somebody that has a lot more tenure. 10 years, 15 years, and they mirror what they're doing, which might not always be good policing. So the fact is that we need better cops. We need better cops. We don't need to defund the police. The police do a great job. It's a very tough job. Nobody's out there saying it. Nobody black is really saying that the police do a good job. What do we say? Most of us F the police, don't we? But yet we expect good outcomes when these people are being so grossly underpaid. We gotta give some good solutions. Everybody wants to cry. Nobody's got really any real solutions that can really help things. And so that's why I position myself on the right. I'm thankful to God that God has opened up my eyes to be able to see things in a different way. Because like you can have knowledge, like meaning like you can hear things. Like you've heard this stuff to what I'm saying, but it might not necessarily resonate with you, because you have to have the blinders taken off of your eyes to be able to see what's really going on. Is police brutality a problem in the country? Most people would say yes. Most people are like, yeah, because that's the times right now. Look at LeBron James out there. Is it though? Is it really a bad issue? Is it really a problem? As what we're talking about, like as we're acting? What are you doing right now? On Facebook, hanging out. On some social media, on your job. Are you worried about you gonna die when you go home? And this like it's bad rhetoric. It's bad left-wing rhetoric that says that I fear for my life. I'm black. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. This country is great. Our law enforcement are great. Because if they were bad, we'll all be dead. Is there some bad apples in the bunch? Absolutely. But for the most part, these folks are exceptional at what they do for a low wage out there. Racist or not. Racist or not. For real. Because, oh, you're racist. These people are racist out here. These cops are racist people. Everybody's got some biases. Everybody. Everybody. And if we focus more on what the good things that we are possessing in America than what is to perceive bad, I think we'll have a better country and have better outcomes. Then constantly preaching and preaching that this country sucks. I'm not going to stand for the flag. The flag wasn't for me. Screw America. Down with America. But yet you still in America and you ain't trying to roll nowhere else. This is ridiculous. It's the biggest oxymoron that you can have out here, that people saying that this country's not great. And then the president of a person that you don't agree with politically, which is okay. You cannot agree with somebody politically. You cannot agree with somebody politically, but we still stand for the same thing. And that's America first. I'm down for that. I'm down. And that's what President Trump is saying, and that's what you should be doing. When you get your voting ballot, if you're voting out there and you're not sitting at the house or not being active in voting, but if you are voting, I recommend you to really think about voting for Trump and keeping him in there. For this one reason right here. There's a scripture in the Bible. You can search it out. You've probably heard it thousands of times. Money answers all things. You can't influence anything, really. You can't improve your quality of life without having some money. And this president is the money president. He literally gets out there on Twitter and says, just a few days ago, he was like, these stimulus talks need to shut down. Let's just stop it. Market goes down. Just on a tweet. Just on one tweet from the president. Then he gets out there the next day. Hey, you guys really need to start talking again. And you probably guys are like, that's crazy. No, it's not. You know why? Because what happens when the market goes down like that? Goes down about 40. It depends on what investments you have. But it might drop 15, 20%. And then you've got an opportunity. Then the president says something positive. Then boom. You invest. So when he says something bad, let's be real. I'm giving you advice right now. When he says something bad, learn with some of these investments, learn some of these stocks, and then put your money down when he says something bad. When he says something crazy, believe that it's about to go up, whatever that it is, 20, 30%. You always want 20, 30% on your money. If you can get more, that's great. You get that, go and sell it. Take that money, chill out for a little bit, and then wait for your next opportunity. That's just an investment strategy. That's some of the things that I do. Focus on the money. Focus on the money. Biden can't affect the market like Trump can. The first true capitalist president. He's not a politician. Yes, he lacks temperament, just like any businessman would. Any billionaire guy. And for you folks out here that says that he's broke, you're so off kilter. This guy You could say he's broke. That's crazy. How much access does he have to capital and wealth? To a bank. He can go to a bank and get 100 million. Now, I mean, now he's right there with the Federal Reserve. But pre-president, man, this guy, that's how you get wealth. Not working regular jobs. Not sitting up there working for $12 an hour, $13 an hour. The way you get money is position that credit right. Get some boys behind you. And then you approach the bank. Then you approach the bank and get a loan. And make a good entrepreneurial investment. That's how you make money. You don't make money by working your butt off like at a regular job. You'll never be broke. You might have you might have a vacation, maybe a 2-week vacation once a year. Maybe hopefully to retire at 65. But get in the right lane. If you want real money, you want to be rich. Like, I'm rich. But I didn't used to be. There's a time I used to work I remember being in Arkansas. I was making $7.25 an hour, like in early 2000s. But my mindset wasn't right. I was right there with, this country's horrible. White people are horrible. They're evil people. The police are terrible. It was all of that. That's where I was. That's where I was. That's not going to get you wealth. That's not going to get you paid. That's not going to improve your quality of life by listening to left-wing radical extremism. It's not going to get you right. Position yourself on the right way. And the right way is being really a Republican and be on the right side of the issues. Position yourself right. It's double meaning. For real, position yourself right, because it's going to change your mindset. Because if you position yourself right, you're not going to be thinking, man, the police are a bunch of murderers. Not if you're thinking on the right side of the issues. You're not going to be thinking like that. Look, a little off topic, but you see this hat. It's kind of beat up a little bit because I wear it a lot. See the Seahawks? What were they saying in 2011? If you know football. My favorite player is Russell Wilson. You see him on the back on my cover. You see me talking about him when I talk about and I'm talking to him and I'm doing my show, Go Farm Sports. You see it, right? But back in 2011, when I was saying that he was the best quarterback in the league, when I was saying that he's the best player in the league, you said, oh man, that's the defense. It's the defense. It's Cam Chancellor. It's Earl Thomas. It's the running game. It's beast mode. Now, what's going on now? All of those guys are gone, moved on, retired, moved to other teams. Who's the best player in the league? Russell Wilson. Hands down. Every single analyst, that's those high-paid guys out there that you watch, you sports fans you watch, RW. Why? It's also, it's not just so much what he does on the field, it's what he does off the field. He comes to the last game, he comes in a Sue Bird jersey. Sue Bird. He's wearing a female WNBA player, one of the greatest players ever. He's so conscious, in the right way. He makes the right decisions. He says the right things, he's the guy that you want. He's the guy. But in 2011, you're like, man, this dude, he's not really that good. He's not good as the defense. Now you see him dominating. The Seahawks are 5-0. So what I'm saying is that right now, you might not really understand what I'm saying. And it sounds crazy that I'm telling you that this America is a great place to live. And that we already have the equality and the freedoms that some people are continually saying that we don't have. We already have them already. We already have them. It is awesome. This is awesome. This is an awesome place to live. This is an awesome time to live. And if you are a voter, I advise you to vote for Trump. I advise you to vote for Trump. It's going to be the best thing that you will ever do. Keep him in there. Keep him in there. He's not a politician. He's not going to say everything perfectly and right. He's not going to. But saying things right doesn't mean you're going to do things right. We've had presidents that said the right things. Exactly. Exactly. And yes, and that's where you should be. Get on the right side of the issues. Don't not vote. Vote. No, it's a double negative. But you guys, some of you guys out there are so negative out there. I had to use a double negative out there. Don't not vote. Vote. But vote for the right dude out there. And that's Donald Trump. That's the right guy. God. Get some money going on for you guys out there. Get your bread up. Get rich. Get wealthy. You can do it. You can do it. Position yourself the right way. You black folks, you stop watching all of that radical black extremism and all that black conscience and that anti-God stuff. God is great. This country is great. Come on. Come on now. Goodness gracious, this place is great. It really is. And we talk about BLM and, well, it looks like the white people matter more, or all these other people matter more. You know what matters? Choices matter. That's what matters. And make the right choice. Position yourself right. And make the right choice. That's the vote for Donald Trump. Do it. Do it. And if you're white, do it. White person, get out there and do it. You know what your money is doing. If you got some investments out there, you know there were much more. Pre-Trump. Well, right now, there's more. It's more than what it was pre-Trump. You know it. You're out there saying, oh, this guy's horrible. This guy's a white supremacist. The IRA's looking good. You ain't talking about that. You ain't talking about that. You ain't talking about how much money and the opportunities that are there. You're keeping quiet about that, and then you're out there, he's horrible. Oh, come on. Come on. This is what America is about. A guy with no political experience, a celebrity, basically. That's basically what he is. He was a celebrity. Had the #1 TV show on television, The Apprentice. You're fired. You remember that? It was funny. It was funny to watch this dude. You know? But before then, it was just, what does wealth mean? Like, if you looked up in a dictionary, like, he would be there. Like, all the rappers, like in black culture, use his name to mean money, to mean wealth, to mean the come up. And he positioned himself right because he is really not a Republican. If he was out there running as a Democrat, like, I don't think he would have half of that Trump hate would be there. I don't really think it would be. But he's not. He's really giving more money to the Democratic Party than you would think of a person that's really on the Republican side. But this dude is the truth out here. And he's going to go down as the greatest president of all time. For real. It's going to go, and it's going to be difficult to unseat and make him a one-term president with the economy and the Dow still being as strong as it is. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. I don't think Biden can affect the economy in the way that Trump can. You want the swings and volatility in the market. That's what you want. That's how you become rich. When it's good, everybody's making money, but not at like just an insane amount. What's wrong with the 1%? Why don't you be it? You can be the 1% if you want to. What's wrong with having money? What's wrong with being rich? What's wrong when you can affect people more when you've got the money? Trump's got the money, and Trump's got the bag, and Trump is the guy. Trump 2020. I'm Sean McCoy. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you get on the right side of the issues and position yourself right. Be blessed. Until next time.